taking you back here. Ari Alvarez, sha-la-la-la. Yep, we only do local music. For containing COVID, it's Friday, Viva Vetness, the 12th day of June. There's a new party chair. You know, something that you were nominated for, you had like actively sought out? The party chairmanship or personship?
Well, the way it goes, Chris, is that, people, in the party approach people that they think that they're interested and that they think that they would be successful, and then they get nominated and put on a ballot, and that's what happened with me, and I was on the ballot last week, Saturday, and so the Democrats came out and voted, and there was actually no one else running against me. So here I am now. Yeah,
here I am.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. So Sarah, I mean, have you've obviously been very active in the party over the years?
Yeah, I was vice chair of the party several years ago when Ken Paris was the chair. And so I had that opportunity to observe an awesome leader and work closely with him and other party officials. So yes, I've had exposure to the leadership of the Democratic Party for some time now.
Wow. Oh, there's a great name, Uncle Ken. You know, it's just the other day I was just going through my WhatsApps with him. He's on the Guam Election Commission. I'm sure you know, and a very accessible guy, just a big, lot of institutional knowledge there.
Absolutely. It was really, for me, it was one of the highlights, of my life, having an opportunity to work closely with him and know him. And like you said, if you've been around him, there's no one like Ken Paris,
Whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
So, Sarah, let's just get into the first thing I wanted to ask you about was this first press release that you guys had put out, taking some shots at Minority Senator Jim Moylan.
Yep. That was done prior to me actually being sworn in. And I am going to meet with the Democratic leadership in the next few days and get updated on all of the going on, so to speak, of the party, what's been done, what the folks in the party believe need to be our priorities and steps going forward. So, yeah.
So you said that was before you were sworn in. So did that release come from you, or was that from kind of in that gray area before you took over?
Right. That did. And, I want to get updated on it, and I want to see, what it is that we can do to work closely with him and to come to some, some mutual understanding. I want to go forward being respectful and peaceful with folks. So let's see how it goes in the next few days.
Right, Sarah. And I mean, because I've known you over the years, and the tone of that press release, I was just like, did Sarah really? I mean, Bree and I were just talking about it this morning, like, did she write that? Because it's really catty. And now I just have to adjust my headphones because the chairman of the Democratic Party of Guam said that the party wants to work with Republican Senator Jim Moylan, and I really don't know if I heard that right.
I mean, this is, to me, the way I look at it, Chris, this is a time to be a one Guam. I mean, the folks, the Republicans, the Democrats, we have our values, we have our priorities. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah. We have our values and we have our priorities. And, I want to come to the table with them and talk about, what is it that we can agree on for one Guam? I think that's the approach going forward. I mean, I think there are certainly some features of the Democratic Party that would make people want to join and be attractive to people to be participatory in the party, certainly. But I also think there's lots of room, and I think our people really are calling for a one Guam approach with the political parties that exist on Guam.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
and
very
I have to
refreshing.
just point out, though, it's not just that Democrat Party press release that we saw the other day. It's been the same with the Republican Party of Guam press releases,
Oh, yeah.
where it's been just as, catty, I guess you could say, or disrespectful, for a lack of a better word. And so it is
Yeah.
kind of it's kind of nice to hear where you're coming from, where we can just calm things down a bit and
Right,
just be
right.
respectful towards one another,
Right,
because
yeah.
we
Yeah.
are living on the same island.
Yeah, I think definitely even the dialogue between members of the Democratic Party sometimes on the session floor is kind of crazy. And Sarah, I know everyone always says, I forget that saying about the Democratic Party, they're not fighting with each other or something. So I'm sure it'll come to me. But how do you guys kind of fold together the different factions in the Democratic Party, which I think you were able to do successfully in getting Lou and Josh elected? That was the big thing, was like, how do you get Uncle Carl to not stab you in the back in the general? And so I guess moving forward from there, you guys were able to fold all these different groups together. But I think since then there have been some fractures and a little bit confrontational sometimes, especially within your own supermajority at the legislature. So how do you kind of like juggle all those different personalities in the party?
It's absolutely correct. We have different personalities, we have different perspectives, and different ways of approaching things. And I think it was Senator Roy that brought that up. Is that's the way the Democratic Party has always been, has had different perspectives. And it makes it exciting, it makes it interesting. It's never a boring moment, but certainly what is so important for us to do is come to some agreement as to how we're going to move forward as a party. So I'm really excited. It hasn't even been 24 hours since I got sworn in, but I am very excited about meeting with the Speaker and the Democrats of the legislature. I'm excited about getting together with Congressman Mike and everyone else. I have meetings set up with the governor, lieutenant governor already, and we're going to figure this out.
Right.
We're going to figure it out.
Well, it's good to hear that, because it's kind of like in your lane, with mediation.
I don't know if your background could handle this type of mediation. This is like a whole other level.
Well, we'll see. I'm very optimistic. I mean, I've been blessed throughout my life to have had worked closely with some of the leadership in the Democratic Party. So I feel like I have a good enough a relationship where I think that we can have an honest and open dialogue and talk about, what is it that we could do, and focus on what's in the best interest of our people and our party moving forward, and focus on that,
Right. What about the supermajority, Sarah? As I'm sure you know, the Republicans, the GOP, they see blood in the water at the Guam legislature, and they're putting candidates out there. I know that in talking with them, they think it's a very real possibility that they're either going to chip away at that supermajority in a big way or take the majority. How's the party kind of factoring that in, and maybe retooling your battle plan for the primary and the general?
I think you said the key words. We're going to strategize and retool and take a look, because the world's a different place than it was a couple of months ago. So the approaches and strategies that might have been used in the past may not be what we need to do now, because of the challenges are different. And so definitely the election this year is big. It's a big part of what we need to be working on in the future. Not in the future, in like the next couple of days and weeks. We've gotten to June 30th, or is it the 27th, to make sure we've got the candidates all lined up and committed. So there's a lot of work to be done in the next couple of weeks, but I'm really optimistic that despite the different perspectives that our Democratic leaders have, that we're going to come together and just, realize that we need to hold on to the majority. We need to, continue to maintain credibility in the executive branch as well. So what is it that we need to do and to get to it? Yeah.
Do you think there's a problem with credibility in the executive branch?
Well, you know, as everyone else has been reading, there's a lot of criticism, and that's not new to any administration. There's always going to be someone that feels that they could do a better job or has some thoughts about, you know, what isn't being done right. So I want to look at all those issues that have been brought forward by the public and see what is it that we can do to either, well, I think promoting and understanding what is really being done. I think we're not doing that as well as we could. And if there are things that we're short of in helping people where we need to help them, we will certainly encourage the administration and the other political leaders to address those.
On the congressional side, so I was able to speak with a former delegate, Robert Underwood, last week, and there was talk about him maybe making a run for Congress. That's not going to happen. There were rumors about Public Auditor B.J. Cruz maybe taking a shot at the delegate seat, but I'm not sure how that's. I haven't heard anything about that. So, are you guys going to put up someone to run against Congressman Mike in the primary? Have you heard anything about that?
Well, certainly there's been word out about both Robert Underwood and B.J. Cruz considering, and as you said, they're not looking seriously at doing that at this point. And what I would like to do is have a chat with Congressman Nicholas and talk to him about, you know, hey, how can we move forward together as Democrats, you know, and we'll go from there. Right. I haven't made an appointment with him yet. You know, like I said, it's less than 24 hours, but those are in the works, and we'll see how he responds to me. And I'm really hopeful and optimistic. I've had a good relationship with him in the past, and I'm hopeful that will continue in the future.
Right. How key is that to mend that relationship? Well, it's non-existent right now between the delegate and the administration, because I feel like he is a thorn in this administration's side, which is kind of crazy because, you know, well, I've always said I think he's really a Republican who ran as a Democrat, but I mean, this is, I feel like this is so key because as the governor and I mean, the legislature, they've been here, you know, they've been here fighting this pandemic, and what the congressman has been able to do is stay in Washington, D.C., and I mean, I see it, I pay attention. He's basically sharing news stories about what Congress is doing and passing that off as accomplishment. So, but what I want to say is that he has just always really taken shots at the administration, taken shots at Democrat senators. So, I mean, if you could be the one to extend the olive branch and actually put it in his hand, I mean, this could be huge. And you're saying you have a good relationship with him. I'm pretty sure if he feels that you're representing the administration either, you know, too much or too little, that's going to really temper the discussion. So how confident are you in being the person that could bring Mike St. Nicholas back to the table and maybe even being that person who could get him to sign that darn pledge?
Well, you know, I was there when we signed the pledge several years ago, and he did not sign that. And, you know, there's a certain amount of appreciation and understanding for political leaders to want to have autonomy. So I get that to a great extent, but I also see, as you said, the importance to present to our community and to the nation a One Guam approach. I mean, it's like we're going to be so much stronger if we're together. And there's too many important battles that need to be fought, and there's too many, you know, monumental things that need to be addressed. And we don't have the time, and we shouldn't use the energy and our limited resources to be fighting with each other on things that we could really come together on. So my real hope, Chris, is that, you know, he can agree to do certain things. And first and foremost, you know, I would like to go in, and I said this yesterday, with a small mouth and big ears. You know, I want to listen to him. I want to understand him. And then I want to see how we can go forward together. And I'm excited and optimistic that we'll get something, and we'll get some positive change.
You know, Sarah, I know you've only been the chair for what you said, 24 hours, but I don't think that means that you haven't been privy to discussions within the party. So I just wanted to ask about the deadline to file is June 30th. Where are you guys? What names are being tossed out right now for potential senatorial candidates for the primary election? And or are you seeing some resistance for people wanting to run because we're going to be dealing with this massive, or we are dealing with this massive situation with COVID?
Right. And I think these are truly not normal times. As I said earlier, the world is a different place, and we need to get to it. So I think the incumbents are all looking to run, for one, and there have been a few other people that have said that they're interested. So those are the kinds of things that I'm going to be doing in the next few days, is talking with both the incumbents and those that are interested in running. And I think it's important that the party, get candidates that the people are going to support so we can maintain the majority. So we're going to look at different strategies and different ways we can ensure that.
What about some of the administration directors? We know that Jack Hattick ran last time, but we're hearing things. Someone had thrown out Tim Uggan, the Homeland Security Advisor's name, as a possible senatorial candidate. Again, we heard Jack Hattick. I heard Kathy Flores the other day. So people are talking. I don't know how much of it is. I mean, it could be the Republicans, John Ananich, right? The Republicans starting rumors, or is this something where people are thinking about it? Maybe they're talking about it, and it's getting outside of that circle and reaching us.
We haven't had that discussion about any changes at the cabinet level. So, like I said, we are going to chat in the next few days, and there's a certain amount of distance I think I need to have with the executive branch and with the legislature in terms of letting them do what they need to do, but at the same time, be there as counsel to talk about what the impact would be on the party as a whole. But I also have to trust the discretion of the governor, lieutenant governor, and making decisions that they feel is the best for the administration.
Right.
So, yeah.
What about the congressional race? Have you heard any Democrats that might be interested in running against the St. Nicholas? I know that you're, going to extend the olive branch and all of that, but have you heard anybody within the party that might be interested in running?
Just Robert Underwood and B.J. Cruz, as Chris brought up.
Okay.
And as I said, I've had the same conversations, Chris, so
right.
I don't see...
what about Judy Wampat? Have you heard anything about Judy? Speaker Judy?
Yes. I think Judy Wampat is not interested at this time, but, we'll see. Like I said, it's crazy sometimes. You wake up in the morning and it's one thing, and then you go to bed at night.
Right, and it's another.
A different thing going on there, so we'll see how things.
Because I think that's going to be key, Sarah. When you go to talk to Delegate St. Nicholas, I mean, I'm pretty sure that one of the first things he's going to ask is, well, who you guys are running? Who are you guys running against me in?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if anybody runs, he's going to throw the party under the bus and do the thing that he normally does. So it's I don't envy you.
Chris, there is no one that I know that has made a commitment to run against Congressman St. Nicholas, and at this point in time, I will say we're all in with him, and let's move forward, and let's take a look at what some of these challenges are for him to continue his position there, and what we can do to be, like I said, a one Guam.
Wow, that's definitely refreshing to hear, because right now we're like 5 Guams. We're doing like the 10 Guam approach.
That can't work, right?
Right, yeah. Well, Sarah.
No, I was just going to say congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations again. And I got to say, man, I like that you seem to be a little more independent, and it's politics, so I'm pretty sure there's some degree of wanting a yes person lead the party. But I like what you said, and I think that people have really been clamoring for this One Guam thing, and they've been again clamoring for our elected leaders to work together, and they kind of, I guess, would expect people in the same party too. So good luck with that, and I definitely appreciate that. We could accomplish so much if we were just lined up. I mean, not even just Democrat on Democrat, but with the Republicans too. If we had that One Guam, if we got
respectful to one another.
Right, man. I really, it seems like a pipe dream, and I'm not really an optimist, but I think about it at night. Like, man, if we had the congressmen on the same page as the governor and all the senators, and they really, went to the feds and pushed for things, like you said. I mean, we've had it in the past, and I just think we really got to get back to it. And I'm happy that you agree, Sarah.
Yeah, I've already had some contact with the Republican Party leaders, and that's definitely on the agenda in the next couple of days, to sit down with them and talk about how we can work on that One Guam. So we'll everyone stand by, and let's pray, let's send best wishes to everyone so that we can really accomplish these goals, because I'm certainly on that track.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right.
Take
care.
care.
It easy. Yeah, keep in touch and wash your hands. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
9:26. So we played this. Well, that was refreshing.
Yeah, and Sarah's such a great woman.
Yeah, and that's why I really was kind of like banging my head against the wall reading that Democratic Party release, because I was like, no. And I was
both of us, right?
I was really disappointed. I was like, man, if Sarah's going to take over the party and it's just going to be more of this petty Carlo Branch, Regine Bisco Lee, attack everybody, I'm just tired of it. And I wish Adelup would just open their eyes and see that everyone else out here is tired of it too. They're just tired of this, because this guy's a Republican, we're just going to keep hating on him, or we're not going to listen to any of Eddie Calvo's interviews because he's a Republican. And like, guys, the election's over. I mean, well, that one is. Yeah, it's tiresome, it's troubling, and it's not productive, and I just don't understand why, especially in this time of this
It's one thing to call somebody out, right?
Yeah.
With good reason.
Yeah.
But then just to take it to that other level of childishness.
I mean, and to me, what gets me is like, it's not just, they're just not putting out stuff that's another level of childishness. It's like they love it. They live it. You know what I mean? They sit. It's almost like they sit around like, how petty can we be? Okay, what should we say to Jim Moylan? Yeah, let's go see this.
And it's not just the Democrats, okay?
Right.
So
Yeah. No, but I mean, for the Republicans to come out and say that they use the Department of Labor unemployment program as a dumping ground for political hires, and then it turns out to be true. Well, that's not really. You know what I mean? So. I don't think the Republicans have really been, but the Democrat on when we get these releases from the Republican Party, the snarkiness I think is doubled in the responses from the Democratic Party, and their responses always seem to be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, So, and I'm not even taking sides with the Republicans. I think they've got their own set of problems in like finding real candidates for starters, but. Yeah, I think that the opposition voice is something that they are just figuring out now, the Republicans. I mean, they could have just from day one just been, oh, my God, Adelup said this, oh, my God, Adelup said that. And, I don't know if there was ever an effort on their end to work together. I know Will Castro was trying to work closely with the administration. So, yeah, I think it's refreshing. One Guam, boy, that's an idea. You remember that when we had one Guam and we had the governor and the senators go to Washington, D.C. together? Yeah. And you had a Republican here and a Democrat sitting right next to them, and it was just...
And I think we even talked about this when the COVID was early on.
Right.
And even before Governor Gutierrez actually had gotten involved, we talked about, could you imagine if Governor Lulian Guerrero called in a lot of the former governors, just Republican Democrats, Felix Camacho, Carl Gutierrez, Eddie Calvo, if they all just came together and just worked on getting Guam out of this.
Oh, political wet dream, for real. I mean, and just to have them in the room, and for Governor Lou, because let's just be realistic. This is her first term. She, wasn't a senator for that long. And I mean, I'm not dissing on her
Yeah,
experience or
no,
whatever. I'm
not
just
at
saying
all.
that like there are people who have a lot of experience who offer a lot of value and knowledge because of that experience, and a lot of them happen to be our former governors. So
Yeah.
I would have totally
all-
taken advantage of that. I mean, can you
Right.
imagine
All
the
of
press
them-
they would have got, a
Mhm.
positive press?
But they got Carl Gutierrez, so.
Yeah.
And he's
so
out there. He's at GBB, right? And
he's out there hustling.
Right.
Right, yeah. So yeah, again, I just got to reiterate that, I mean, man, can you imagine? I mean, Congressman St. Nicholas, obviously, this guy is very intelligent, I mean, he's got his issues personality-wise, but, I mean, obviously, this guy's very smart. We have a lot of really intelligent people with a lot of good ideas all throughout our government. And just to have them all working together to get things that are going to help Guam. I mean, God, I sound like I'm going to bust out singing Kumbaya any second, but it would just be so great. It would be so great. Like if we're having these problems with this unemployment program, instead of Congressman St. Nicholas, taking shots and hating on the local government, what if he did something else and went to labor or, offered help instead of hate?
Well, I'm sure his people aren't on the transition list, but you may say he's offering hate, but I think at the same time, I think he's pointing out deficiencies, inefficiencies,
Yeah.
problems
Right.
that need to be addressed and acknowledged.
Right.
And so, I think that that's a good thing that he's doing it because he's at that level where
Correct.
he should be.
But I think that we vote for somebody as a delegate not to just be criticizing the local government. They actually got to be doing stuff too. And so
That
no, I
goes
see.
both ways.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't just
totally
say
agree.
that.
Yeah,
I mean, look at DOL. We haven't even cut a check yet.
it's crazy.
And all we
It's
hear
crazy.
is this Goliath, this huge
Right.
program,
But
and it's
again,
never
Bree,
been done before.
It's so
Yeah.
easy to sit there and say like, "Oh God, these people they totally screwed up." We know people are hurting, but I feel like our elected leaders, instead of criticizing, I mean, yeah, criticize all day. It's a free island. We can say what we want to say, but how about maybe throw out a couple solutions while you're at it? Anyway, 9:31. So we're doing this virtual relay for life thing.
Yes, we are.
Boy, and let's just say that I got tricked into doing a little dance video that we're going to play up here again, and then we're going to bring Joe Rios from American Cancer Society on to talk about who else is going to be doing this TikTok video and some of the work that's going into the virtual relay for life. So we're going to play this again. I apologize in
Yeah.
advance.
And this is we're doing this dance. It's going to be airing. It's a dance challenge. We're asking people, encouraging people to learn the moves. If you know TikTok,